Hi guys, it's Keely here and I'm back to do some more crafting. So I wanted to do some more in my fairy journal that I'm doing with my cut and collage book that I published. If you've been here before, yes, I know you've heard it before. If you're new, I publish cut and collage books and I've been using this one, which I just love. This is totally my vibe. I suppose all my books are my vibe, but this one especially. Look how cute these fairies are. And I wanted to use some of the marigold fairies today because they are so pretty. And I've been doing a lot of pink stuff. You may have seen on TikTok, you might have seen my new book, which has just arrived yesterday. So yeah, there's a lot of pink things in there. And I'm a bit pinked out at the moment, so I thought, having done that as well, thought I would do some marigolds and such cheerful, bright little flowers. Yes, I know it's October, everybody's doing Halloween, so it's time to quickly do a little bit of cutting. And who shall we have? She's sweet. I love this one. Nicole on Relaxed Cut Glue made a postcard with her on a YouTube short. It was very, very pretty. And she used that beautiful marigold song as well, if you know it. So lovely. I watched it over and over again. It was really beautiful. Yeah, so those are the 2 pages of Marigold Fairies. I might pick 2. I love her. Well, I love them all, but she would go quite well. So how did I make this background? I've been trying to do a bit more mixed media just for fun and to get all those bright colours of the acrylic paint that I've got. So yeah, I glued together 2 pages to make it a bit more sturdy. Same on that one. And I painted the whole thing with gesso. It was quite thick gesso. I didn't water it down, and you can see I used an old scratchy brush and I just wanted to get a bit of texture. I keep rubbing it because it's all sort of lovely and textural. I don't know if you get that from watching on here. So I did that, and then I painted on some of that beautiful marigold colour, and there's some washi tape around the edge as well. So, and then just now I thought I really want to carry on doing this. So even though I've got to get ready for work, I did a little bit of stamping. And I thought, I'm just going to get started recording this for you. So let's go in with this fairy here initially. I think I might choose that as well, as it's nearby. And perhaps I'll just have one fairy in this page, because I've got a whole book to fill up with fairies. So we'll have her. She's going to look great in there. Should we have a big label or maybe a smaller label? The marigold fairy, because they're super pretty labels. I'm going to go in this way. I suppose I could have got my cutting mat out and a blade, but try not to chop off the fairy's toes. Doesn't make fairies happy, that. There we go, the marigold fairy. I do love making all these little bits of ephemera. That would be nice too. Is it a bit too heavy and dark? I think I want to keep this really super bright and fresh. So perhaps we'll have, butterflies. Butterflies. So her wings are like a butterfly, aren't they? Should we have a big butterfly or a little butterfly or a few? That one's a bit too dark. That would be nice. I think that one, just make sure I'm not cutting through too many pages, because that would be sad, wouldn't it? And we've got the water lily fairy on the next page. Different sort of vibe over there, a little bit more melancholy and wistful, whereas this one's just joy and happiness, isn't it? So maybe that one. And I might, excuse me, I've still got a cold. I might come back to select some more pieces, but for now I'm just going to fussy cut those. For some more ephemera because there's obviously not enough here for a double page, and I've saved all these little tiny background pieces, and I might make some, you know, little clusters or something, but I'd need something to go with it. Maybe a bit of jelly print perhaps, I'm not sure, but anyway I thought I would dig around in here, my vintage flowers book, to see whether I've got any orange marigolds. Now the closest I could get was these, which are a bit dark. I'm pretty sure they're marigolds. They've got that same sort of raggedy leaf on them, and they can look a bit like carnations. And these, I think those might be a breed of marigold as well. So what is going to go better on here? They're a bit too, oh no, it's those are maybe a bit too dark. Not quite sure. And let's just stick a pin in there, metaphorically speaking. And then here, this might work better. Now these are actual real vintage paintings. So yeah, possibly those. I'm intrigued how there's two colours on one plant, but maybe there weren't really. I think those might go. They've definitely got that beautiful orange look, as well as these sort of darker reds. Let's go with that, shall we, and see what we can do with that image. So this is a really handy book to have, actually, and I did publish it a couple of years ago. It's one of the first sets that I did, the vintage flowers, and I don't know, I loved the cover of this. At the time I was super proud to have designed that, and there's my collage. But I think I've come a long way since then, and I'm kind of, you know, the ephemera's in here. It's a great book and really useful, but I think I've come quite a long way with my books since then. And I did use the softer paper for this one, so it's a bigger, thicker book with many more pages than I publish these days. but the paper isn't quite the same quality, but it is nice and soft to cut. It's a bit of a different feel, whereas these images are much more crisp. And unfortunately, you do get less in a book these days than this book has, and my older books. But I'm glad that I made the switch. And yeah, so fussy cutting time. Very fun and relaxing, a bit of fussy cutting. I find I like to meditate, but this for me is also very meditative and soothing. And you just kind of get yourself comfy, get a good pair of scissors. These are really sharp. Not sure where I've put my blue ones. The blue ones with the paint on, I expect they're lying around somewhere. So yeah, a bit of fussy cutting. It's very ASMR, isn't it? And yeah, there's a place for a bit of ASMR, I think. AMSR, ASMR, ASMR. Now this is quite a tricky one to cut out because there's so many little bits, but probably not going to go too crazy with all the little holes. But that's fine, you do it how you want to do it. But I'm so glad I've got some other books that I can fall back on for extra pieces of ephemera. And obviously I've got my mixed media approach that I'm trying to bring in as well, which I'm not particularly experienced with, other than doing stuff with the children I used to teach when I was a teacher. If you know me, you know that I used to be a primary school teacher, and yeah, we did a lot of art, and always fun, always a thrill to see what children come up with. I do apologise for the cough. I'm just getting over a heavy cold. It's going around. So, yeah, it was always fun to see what the children came up with, and then to get a wall display with everybody's work. And it was just great to see all the work side by side, and the characters of the children came through, even though they'd all been given the same, project and the same sort of resources and materials and so on. It was just really fun to see how they interpreted things and how their personalities came out. I suppose it's a bit like any craft work, really, isn't it? Always put a little bit of yourself in there. And the sharp-eyed can sometimes spot whose is whose. Actually, that was always fun, getting the other teachers in. Right, who do you think did these? And because we had quite a small school, we all knew the children really, really well, and just trying to work out who did what. And there's always a few surprises as well. These leaves are very fiddly. Say, I'm not going to go completely crazy. Might have to use my archival inks to tone down the cream paper. Now that book has cream paper backgrounds, but I did find that actually white sort of worked really well for me, and I didn't have to mess about with the cream backgrounds on everything. Although here it might be quite handy because I don't want brilliant white spaces in between all the stalks. So yeah, I'm really excited about my pink steampunk book that arrived last night. I'm very excited. It's, again, I think the cover is great, even though I say so myself. I think I've improved no end at doing the book covers. I mean, obviously you're not going to cut up the book cover, although some people do. There's a lovely lady on TikTok who did actually use the front cover of my afternoon tea book to make some TikTok videos with, or a TikTok video. It's absolutely gorgeous. And her approach is very kind of free with the things she cuts out, and quite mixed media, I think, as well. Thinking back, it was quite a while ago, but yeah, she used the front cover, so there's nothing stopping you, if you don't mind the shininess of it, using the front cover images as well, and the back cover. There's loads of stuff going on both. So there you go. So that guy, he'd look amazing in a collage, wouldn't he? Or the cat. And then there's loads going on the back, and they're sort of, I don't tend to do the bigger images in the book because I sort of focus on making the page look beautiful, which usually requires more little intricate images, and those tend to be better for smaller art projects like this one, or like ATCs, twinchies, even inchies. And I am tending to do the smaller ephemera these days, partly for that reason, and partly, you've perhaps heard me say this before, because I just can't choose. All these amazing looking images on the theme that I'm looking for, and just can't pick, so I just shrink things down and fit more in. But I love that. I love the variety, and I like working on a tiny scale. So yeah, Demi Crafts, she loves working on a tiny scale. There we go, done those. Thank you for listening and watching me do that. You see that cream background? It's not too bad at all, is it? Could always... No, it's a bit muddled. I think I need some bolder areas on here as well. You know, like possibly some gel prints or something like that. Something a bit blocky maybe. I'm not going to try and paint leaves because I don't think I'm going to be very good at replicating those. They're going to look a bit near. Or I could get some stencils out and use my inks, but I'm a bit scared. I'm a bit scared. I think I need to practice my painting in other projects. I don't want to muck this book up. Yeah. Going to look through my gel prints now, see what I've got. Aha! One thing I do have, now I, many years ago, used to do silk painting with silk painting inks and a resist technique, and I've just found this in my stash I've got a filing cabinet that I use for jelly prints and things. I think those might be rather pretty, so I think I'm going to just be brave and cut a few little bits up and add those. They're great, aren't they? Let's do that. I wonder if those scissors are sharp enough. Should really iron these and scan them in, shouldn't I, and have them in a book. But I'm not going to, and it's very mixed media then, isn't it? Let's just try. These edge pieces have got some nice wispy lines as well, haven't they? Oh, I'd love to do a bit more with this, but I don't think I've got the inks anymore. In fact, I know I haven't. Ooh, oh look! How cute is that? Oh, how cute is that? Little spots and, yeah, stripes. Sure about those. Let's look at the other end. Bit more splodgy. Maybe that's enough. Might be enough. You can see I love patterns. I was just saying the other day, in my last video I think, that I always wanted to design wrapping paper. It'd be fun, wouldn't it? Just play about with the colours. There, I think those are really playful and sweet. I'm not sure if that's in the right place. That probably needs to go on top. Maybe a fairy on top of there. Not a fairy, a butterfly. There, that's added a bit more fun, hasn't it? And joy. I think maybe one more piece of that. Rule of 3. Let's see. Perhaps I'll just go for it with the stripes. There we go. Yeah, I had lots of fun making my silk scarves and things. It was a long time ago, before my son was born. Well, he's 26, so yeah. It was a little while ago. There, I think that is cute. In fact, I'm even going to have one more after that, maybe the spots. And I'm not going to worry about it fraying. I mean, this is actual silk. There was a craft shop where I was living and they sold all this stuff and I just couldn't resist. Could not resist. Not sure where the flowers are going to go. I don't want to just plonk 4 in the corners because I think that looks a bit naff. But I love those. Oh, I'm going to have to play around here a bit, aren't I? Now, I don't want to make the same mistake I've made before, which is where I stick things down before I've really made my mind up. Would they work just hanging off the edges? Possibly. You know, I'm going to trim them because, I mean, it's fun to have things hanging off the edges, actually, isn't it? But they're always going to be hanging off the edges. But at least they're fabric. Might be rather fun, mightn't it? And a bit more mixed media. Have the picture bursting out of the book. May need, oh, I forgot about this little label. May need another butterfly. That is very cute, isn't it? Maybe if I use these frayed edges and literally do leave them hanging off the edges of the book, it'll look a little bit more fun. Oh, I love that. I really love that. I'm not quite sure about those squares in the middle. Maybe I'll put those on the edge. Come here, squares. Now, I don't know, I haven't got any fabric glue. I don't know whether Pritt Stick's going to work very well with these. I hope it is, because that's all I've got. Oh, I have got some art glitter glue. Right, I love that. I'm going to stick it down. I'm just going to do it. Ooh. Let's just do it. Okay, so it's sticking time. I can't believe I just found this all those years ago. All those years ago. That's lovely, isn't it? And you can still just about see the washi tape through it and the, what's his name? Oh, you can't see, sorry. It's quite hard keeping this in frame. And I'm trying to do it up close as well, which means my frame target is even smaller. Right, let's just put this sort of number 5 domino one in the middle. I think the Pritt stick actually worked quite well on that piece. I mean, it's so thin anyway. The thing I would say is dragging the silk a little bit. Oh, missed a bit. And I really don't mind the little frayed edges. I think that makes it a little bit more playful. Might have to go in with my art glitter glue later. We use Pritt stick for loads of things at school. And PVA, you know, that white smelly glue. Gives me an itchy throat. Don't like that glue very much. Right, let's have that hanging out. I want to see a little bit of the actual pattern hanging out as well. There, I think. Oh, what have I done? I'm going to put glue on the back of the blooming thing. And now that's going to be all gluey. Oh, never mind, it will dry. Just make sure I don't stick it to the edge of the book pages. Right, so she's going to go about there. That could go down there. To spread those darker colours around a little bit more. Yeah, now that's nice. Right, try not to put glue on the very edge. So, yeah, maybe Fabri-Tac. Is that a glue that I've heard of? I don't own any, clearly, otherwise I'd be using it, but I think it's more of a, clue's in the name, more of a glue for sticking fabric with, so maybe I need to invest in some of that. Oops. Oh, I love this. I really, really love this. I'm going to have to use some more of my silk patterns. I wonder how much more of it I've got. It'd be fun to make a patterns book and add some of those in, wouldn't it? There, you see it's stretched, but I don't care about that. I think that's all right. So it's so thin. There. Love it. Oh, I haven't inked anything. What am I going to ink? Right, I used Vintage Photo for the lettering, so let's stick with that. Got that Marigold song on the brain now. I'm not going to try and sing it, although it is in my head. There we go. I want to keep this very light and not go too crazy with the edges. Just want to take off that very bright edge a little. Don't want to muddy this, I want to keep it really fresh. There. Nice. Oh, very pleased with myself today, aren't I? I've got to go to work in a minute. go on, go and do battle with public transport. Get myself across town. Let's do her legs. There we go. There we go. Right, let's be very careful with our little fairy here. With the Pritt stick, which is my glue of choice. Oops. Try not to rip your head off, little fairy. That would be very sad. Manage not to chop your toes off. There you go. Right, let's put you there. Oh, I love that so much. I just love these fairies. I think they're gorgeous. There. And of course, if you like the original, oh gosh, what was her name? Cicely Mary Barker, who did the original Flower Fairies books. So gorgeous. I sort of grew up with those books. Oh, I remember them from when I was little. They are just divine. And obviously I was trying to do a bit of a homage to her books, really, because what a beautiful idea, Flower Fairies, eh? Let's just link the two pages together with that little image. Little orange butterfly. It's funny because orange, if you said to me, what's your least favourite colour, I'd probably say orange. You know, I probably wouldn't wear orange. Let's see whether this is actually going to come out today or not. Probably wouldn't really wear orange, although I did have had some amazing orange velvet trousers back in the early 90s, which were really fun, and I was a lot younger and I could rock those quite well at that point, but yeah, definitely not now. But yeah, they were nice. They were really nice. Might put that somewhere else. Maybe down there. Or maybe it needs a bigger piece. Yeah, I don't want to cover up those spots really, because they're super pretty, aren't they? So yeah, silk painting. If you've never tried it, and you can get your hands on some silk for painting, it is glorious fun, and you really can just play. And yeah, highly recommend a bit of silk painting. I mean, it doesn't have to be silk that you're going to wear or anything, but just, I mean, who knew I was just going to find that in my filing cabinet with all my bits and bobs. I suppose I've moved house so many times that things get lost and buried, and I have to get rid of stuff, chuck things away. Goodness only knows what happened to my silk painting stuff. But that was when I was a teacher, so I didn't have a lot of time on my hands for those things, but it was just like a little Saturday morning break before I started on my planning and stuff for the following week, for the lessons and the marking. Usually try to get the marking done before the weekend. It didn't always happen. Let's go there. Might even leave that bit sticking out as well. Let's put that down there. Oh, nearly there. It's funny, this page has come together really quickly. The other one, the pink one, that video must have been about an hour long. Don't know why it took so long really, but I think waiting for the paint to dry and literally just making it up as I went along. No, I'm going to cut that edge. But I'm going to leave the fabric, and then over time, if I hate the fabric hanging off the page, I'll change it. There. Let's put that in the background. How cute is that page? On a scale of 1 to 10. I'd give it a 8.5. I think that's very pretty and cute and bright and cheerful. So that is it from me today. So don't forget, the Flower Fairies book and the Vintage Flowers to Cut and Collage book are both obviously available on Amazon, and the links will be below. Do check them out and give me a follow on Amazon as well. And all the usual YouTuber things I'm going to say now. Please, please, would you mind subscribing to my channel if you haven't already? It would really help me out. And if you enjoyed this content, please hit the notification bell, and then you will be notified whenever I get the Fairies book out or any other collage projects that I'm working on, or my book flip through videos. So there'll be a pink steampunk one to come very soon for you. Right, there we go, we're done. I better get ready for work. Bye everybody.